This is my review of Season 1, Episode 1 of Daredevil Born Again. Now, Daredevil Born Again is the new Disney Plus series, and I think it follows some kind of continuation to the Netflix series, at least in terms of characters. I think the story is going to be brand new. So yeah, this is the season premiere of Daredevil, and in the beginning we see Matt Murdock, who's Daredevil. Now, we've seen him before in She-Hulk, briefly. And him and his two friends are walking outside. I think they're leaving their lawyer building or something. And then they go to another place. I think it's a bar or a restaurant or something like that. And they're having some sort of retirement or send-off party for one of the people who they work with. And everyone's seen there having a good time. It's a nice and fun. And then Matt and his two friends from earlier, both of them go outside, and then one of his friends gets a call that someone from another person they know, and these are probably all people from the previous series, so I'm not sure who's who. But yeah, and apparently he's scared because someone's tracking him, and then Matt Murdock decides to go and try to help him in case something's wrong, and so he becomes Daredevil, and he changes in his costume and goes after him. And then by the time that he gets there, he realizes that there's something wrong. There was some sort of setup, and then there's another bad guy that shows up to a place where his two friends were standing. The guy who got the phone call and his other friend, I think her name's Karen. Yeah, the both of them are standing there. And this bad guy shows up, and then he decides to go on the attack. And so all of a sudden, his friend Matt's friend gets shot, and he's lying on the ground, and this bad guy just goes in and starts attacking everyone with blades, and they use a lot of smoke, so they can't really see anything, and gets a little foggy. So Matt returns quickly to the location, and then he starts fighting the bad guy, and it's a pretty violent fight. I mean, you see Matt and the bad guy get stabbed and hit and all that a lot of times. And it's a little bloody in a sense, since we don't really see something like this in a Disney series. I mean, I heard that the Netflix series was pretty violent and bloody, but this is pretty new for the Disney. So yeah, you see a lot of fighting up and down a stairwell. I mean, you see Daredevil get stabbed with multiple blades, and the blades are just sticking out his body, and he's still going like nothing's wrong, which is a bit much, but yeah, sure. And you see him fighting the bad guy, and the bad guy gets stabbed a bunch of times too, and they go fighting on top of the roof. And then his friend who got shot earlier, he's lying on the ground and he dies. Now, I think this is a really close friend of his, because the other girl, Karen, she's devastated by this, and Matt, because of his super hearing, he can hear it from the top of what is happening, and while he's fighting the bad guy and he's beating him up, he can hear that his friend died, and then he pushes the bad guy off the roof and kills him. I think he kills him. And so, and at least that's what it seems. And that's pretty much the end of that first arc, because after that we see the show in 1 year's time from now. Now, a year's passed, and Matt Murdock's apparently given up being Daredevil because of what happened, and he's lost contact with his other friend Karen. And you see that he's getting ready to go to court for the trial of his friend who was murdered. And apparently you see the bad guy is still alive. I think that's the same guy He's still alive. Not sure how, but yeah. And he's on trial, and Matt Murdock says that his friend deserves justice, and we see all that. And that's pretty much the end of the first half of Matt Murdock's storyline. And then we go into a second half where we finally see Kingpin. Now, Kingpin, we already seen him earlier in the Hawkeye series. He was the kind of the main villain, and at the end of it, we see. I think the girl's name was Echo. Her shooting him in the face, and we thought he was dead, but apparently he's not. And he doesn't really see all that scratch, so he shows up into a meeting of the mafia families where his wife is now running things from his side. And he says he wants to go clean, he wants to become mayor, and he wants to clean up the city and all that. And so he decides to start running for mayor. Now Matt Murdock is seeing all this on TV, so, and he has apparently he has a big history with Kingpin. I think he was the main antagonist of the Netflix series. So he goes off to, realizing this, he goes off and actually confronts Kingpin. And they just sit in a coffee place, really civilized and all that, and start talking about things. And Kingpin says he really wants to fix the city and go legit, and Daredevil says he's not interested in doing the whole Daredevil thing anymore. And they come to some sort of mutual understanding where if Kingpin doesn't do anything wrong, then Matt Murdock won't become Daredevil again. But if they do, but if he does, then he'll come after him. And if Matt Murdock becomes Daredevil for no reason, then he'll come after him because he doesn't want superheroes or people like that doing what they want in the city. Basically, he doesn't want any vigilantes controlling the city, doing damage to the city. And yeah, at the end of the episode, we see the Kingpin actually wins the election and becomes the new mayor. And we see Matt Murdock listening to the results and just standing there thinking about what he's gonna do next, because he agreed not to do anything, not to become Daredevil again, as long as Kingpin doesn't do anything wrong. But can he actually do that, and wait and see if Kingpin does do something wrong or not? So we leave that in a bit of a awkward ending, I guess. But yeah, that's what happens in the first episode, and honestly, it seems like a good show. And the beginning is good. Now, I personally wasn't really a fan of the Daredevil character and all that, because it's a normal character. I mean, he has super hearing, he can't see, so he can do his hearings and hands, and he does all these things, and that's nice. But I'm more interested in superhero level superheroes. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan, but the first episode seems like really good. I mean, I'm expecting this to be more of a grounded series than the rest of the shows, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. So that's my review of Daredevil Born Again, the first episode.